Hi, this is going to be a quick video on the continuation of the UCCX labs. We're going to talk about the UCCX Editor. We're going to validate a script. We're going to use the Reactive Script for debugging the script. We're also going to make changes to an application based on the variables marked as parameters from the CCX script. Hope you enjoyed. Okay, so now we have a working UCCX application, which is the main AAA or main auto attendant, and we're using one of the stock scripts that comes with UCCX. First thing that I want to do is I want to know what are the options, what do we have on that script, and then be able to configure it and modify it for our use. So before we even get started, let's make sure our CTI route points are registered. And yes, it's registered. And let's also take a look at the CTI ports if they're registered. So we have a working system pretty much. And if we call,
welcome to the automated attendant. To enter the phone number.
Okay, so that's good enough to find out if this thing is working. So first thing that I want to do is go ahead and install the CCX Editor. And if everything works fine, this should be a very quick installation. And where do you get the CCX Editor? You come here to Tools, Plugins, and then it's the first option. We're gonna go with all the regulars here, all the defaults. So after the installation completes, it asks if you wanna restart. I just selected no. And this is an old installation, so let's see if we can open it here. Okay, so it doesn't open, so that's one of the things that you have to be aware of, that it may not open because you have to restart it. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this to the desktop and I'll be right back. Okay, so we are back and this thing is already opening. Now, one thing that I wanna let you know about CCX, it asks you for username, password, and then the IP address of the CCX server. If you happen to use the admin user, this is gonna work fine, but then you're not gonna be able to save any of the information. So the thing to do is to use another user that is not the admin, the one that you use to complete the installation, but a new admin that has access to modify the system. So in this case, let's see, let's go to user management, user view, look for the UCCX admin user. The only thing is that we have to make sure that it's an administrator. We could give him all these permissions, but we just want it to be an administrator. So let's do it for now like that. And the IP address of our server is home dash, well, the DNS name. We should be able to do it with the DNS name. So it's home dash UCCX. Okay, so this is the editor. And now first thing that I want to do is go ahead and look for one of those the scripts that we're using. So basically we're not gonna find them here, but if we come here to the computer, program files, actually it's 32-bit, and we look for this folder called WF AVVID or the Avid. This used to be the name that they had for Unified Communications before. And then go to the scripts folder. Go to System, Default. We see that we have this guy right here. And I just want to make sure that's the one that we'll be using. AA.AF. Okay. So we're gonna open that one. We're gonna see what's the deal with this guy. Okay, so to get a better understanding of the UCCX editor, I just want to show you a few basic stuff, a few basic things that we have going on here on the script editor. And maybe at the beginning you will think that it's a little bit too much, but in reality it's just a top-down approach or a top-down flow that you have to follow. But here in the left, you have few options, and I'm not gonna go in detail to them, but you know we're gonna use some of these options to work with different scripts. But yes, you have different options here, and then if you go to each of these folders, you're gonna have more options and then more options. So at the end, when we work with this script or with another script, we're gonna be able to see some of those things here. Now at the right hand side of the right pane, you're gonna see the flow or the script itself. And if you notice, this is composed of many things that you find on these little folders right here on the left. And then they execute an action based on the configuration that you put on each of those parameters or each of those steps. And then you have the ability to put recordings or prompts. And then you have if and then statements. So it's just like programming, but not as tough as, or not to say that programming is tough, but it is not as bad, and it's really easy to use. And then at the bottom you have at the bottom left you have this section, which is the one that it's called the variables. So here you have these three buttons. One of them is to create a new one, and then you have different types of variables that you could create or you can create, and we're gonna go over those when we start working on the scripts. This one is to edit, this one is to delete. Fair enough, easy enough. And then one thing that it's important to understand is that there are some variables that you can make parameters. So what does this mean? This means that this information that you put here you can modify from the UCCX GUI, so that you don't have to come here and then change parameters. So let's say you have an administrator that it's working with an application, and there's changes. There's let's say an on-call rotation of a cell phone number. Then what you do is just come here and then create a new variable, and then make it a parameter here by checking this box. Now when you go in UCCX into the application, you're gonna see that there are three things, or the things that are marked as parameter on the UCCX script, they are modifiable. So you can just come here and change it. Let's say a max retry, you don't want it to retry only 3 times, you want it to retry 1 time. So you can change that information. This is for the operator extension. You can modify this, make sure you leave it in quotes. And we're gonna say 2014. Now let's see if we can get action on this. So let's call the auto attendant.
Welcome to the automated attendant. To enter the phone number of the person you're trying to reach, press 1. To enter the name of the person you're trying to reach, press 2. To transfer to the operator, press 0.
Okay, so we're gonna press 0. And then you see 2014 ringing. Okay, so that information you can just change it from here. If you want to change it to another number, you can do that. And this is all without modifying the script.
Welcome to the automated attendant.
So that one went to 2013. And then you can make those changes without having to mess around with the script. Okay, so that's basically the structure of UCCX. And one more thing that you have to hear is this pane right here. This is like the debugging section of the Ccx editor. So this is what we use to validate if the script is configured correctly. And then we click this, and then we get this script validation succeeded. Now let's say that you have a go-to, or you have a step that you don't have, that requires definition, and you don't have it defined. What's gonna happen is that when you do the validation, it's gonna give us an error. And then it's pretty easy to identify. It says validation errors, and then it says a dangling go-to. So once you click on that one, let's say you're in another place on the script and you don't know where that is, you just click on it, and then it will tell you what it is and where it is. So go-tos, and just to get a little more information on the go-tos, these are steps that you can integrate into the script so that it jumps to a label that you have created. So let's say in this case we want to go to the main menu, or in this case we want to send it to the end and then terminate the whole thing. We create here a tag and then call it end. Now we come here to the go-to and then make sure it goes to end. So what's going to happen is that the script's going to start and it's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to play the prompts, and it's just going to go to the end, and maybe we're going to get a busy signal. So let's first validate it, save it as, and we go to the repository, and then we call it testing. Now that is already saved in UCCX. So if you come here to application script management, you're gonna see that that's the script that we just modified. So we're gonna go to the application, go to the auto attendant script, and then we're gonna be able to see this information here. So what's gonna happen is that the script, again, if everything works fine, if I get it right, it's gonna jump from here without playing any prompt. It's just gonna go to the end, and maybe we're just gonna hear busy signal. So let's try it and see.
I'm sorry, we are currently experiencing
Yeah, so it just sends us to the end. Now there's another tool that it's very useful, and this is the Reactive Script. The way this one works is that it works with the scripts that are already on UCCX, and then the seconds that you're gonna take to dial that number or the CTR raw point. So let's do that, and then we see it here. And the first thing that you need to do is just to play, and it went too fast.
sorry.
So let's close this guy right here. Let's do it again. And we just do the next step, accept, contact, go to end, and then it's gonna send it to the end, just as we said. And then we're gonna get that message that we just heard.
We are currently experiencing system problems and are...
So that's exactly what we just did. And what I like to do is just go ahead and remove this go to step, save it again. And in some cases, what you have to do is you have to come here to the application management and say refresh. This usually refreshes the script as well, but sometimes I don't trust it because you have to come here directly to the script and do it. So we're gonna test it again, and we're gonna use the reactive script again just to make sure we can test this tool. Dial in again the number, and we're gonna go to the next step. This is accepting the call. It's gonna play the prompt or not. Right here.
Welcome to the automated attendant.
Okay, this is the ASR or automated speech recognition option. The language, which we can then define, but it's gonna go to the default language, which is English.
To enter the phone number of the person you're trying to reach, press 1. To enter the name of the person you're trying to reach, press 2. To transfer to the operator,
We're
press
gonna
0.
select 0. And 0 is gonna send us to the operator. What's gonna happen here is that it's gonna go and look for that operator extension, which we have defined here. And then if we come here to UCCX to the application management, we see that we don't have anything, so we should expect an error. Okay, we go next, and it says invalid. So this is going to play this prompt from the system prompts. Let's see what it sounds like. It doesn't sound, and it just goes back to the beginning again, and it's gonna play the prompt again or not.
You have entered an invalid phone number.
Yes.
To enter the phone number of the person you're trying to reach, press 1. To enter the name of the person you're trying to reach, press 2. To transfer to the operator, press 0.
So this is an auto attendant, but it's very, very well thought.
Are you still there? To enter the phone number of the person you're trying to reach, press 1. To enter the name of the person you're trying to reach, press 2.
And it looks like it's getting information based on the caller, and then it sends it back here, and then it has the if and then options. So it's enabled to always enable dial by name, if that's a possibility, if automatic speech recognition is enabled. So that was nice overview of the CCX Editor. Hope you liked it and hope I didn't confuse you more with this information, but feel free to reach out to me in case you have any questions or if there's something that I can help with regarding the UCCX script editor or something you have on UCCX. Thank you.